English.
English, you know English, no problems whatsoever. Right, so we will talk about telecom and its future. And I'll start my presentation with those very interesting abbreviations. I'm not sure you know those abbreviations, but because we will be talking about industry desperation, I think you should know this. This is SNAFU and FUBAR. That's words invented by American military pilots during World War II. Because you don't have a lot of time when you're flying the plane to talk about the situation you are in. So they made those two words. And the first word, SNAFU, means situation normal, all fucked up. That's the first thing. And that's a normal situation. So you're flying anyway, the situation is difficult because the enemy is flying around, so all fucked up, but the situation is still normal. And the second word, FUBAR, is not very normal situation. It's abbreviation of fucked up beyond all recognition. So we'll be discussing now where telecom is in which of these situations. First couple of words, I traditionally start my presentation explaining what Kievstar is. So Kievstar is the biggest Ukrainian mobile operator with more than 25 million customers. We are 100% owned by a company called Wintercom, which is NASDAQ quoted with headquarters in Amsterdam. That's why we need a flight to Amsterdam from Lviv, at least. We paid a lot of taxes to Ukrainian government for our 18 years of operations, and we invested approximately a similar amount of money in our network, which is the biggest in Ukraine, by the way, right now. Very interesting chart. That's not our chart. That chart that we are getting every quarter, they send a lot of charts to us from GSMA. It's associations of all mobile operators in the world. And they send this chart, and on x-axis you have EBITDA in percentage for last quarter, and on y-axis you have revenue market share in the country. So if operator is on the top of this chart, it means that operator is number one in the country. And in the bottom is maybe number 3 or number 4. And here is EBITDA margin. And that's all mobile operators in Europe, all of them. As you can see, Kievstar has the highest EBITDA margin of all operators in Europe. That's what we achieved for 2 last quarters. By the way, I don't ask you to upload me during my presentation. If you like what I'm telling you after the presentation, people who have a Kievstar number, and I believe in Lviv it's approximately 70% of population, after my presentation, if you like my presentation, please make a call abroad. I don't need your applause, I need money. Because in every call you are placing abroad, there is a very small part of my salary. Right. And what's happening with telecom operators? Telecom companies are becoming, in many countries, not yet in Ukraine because we are behind all those trends, becoming so-called dumb pipes. And there are 3 examples here on the slide showing what's happening, just examples. Google fee project, Google signed up with 2 smallest operators in the United States to provide only for Google produced phones, for Motorola phones, I believe for Nexium, I don't remember now, the possibility to use Wi-Fi and 4G network seamlessly and for very small amount of money in the US. It's only a study project. Amazon sells skills with already SIM cards built in that you can use around the world. And there is a very interesting example, just one of the examples. It's a British operator, GiveGov, that doesn't have any shops, any call centers, nothing. And it's called GiveGov, it's a virtual operator. They don't have any infrastructure, they don't own any assets, and they have just a community of people who support the clients of GiveGov. So if you have a question, you post it on their website or Facebook page, and the community answers to your questions. So they don't have anything, and therefore they can give you very good prices. That's just examples. interesting point also. The revenues of telecom companies are failing. That's a Western European trend, and the CAGR, as you can see, -2% a year, so nothing good. And quantity of users of OTT, you obviously know what OTT is. Over the top. That's a standard abbreviation in telecom over the top providers. That's Facebook, Viber, WhatsApp, Skype, you can name a lot more of them, but they are all called OTT. So they are sitting on top of mobile operator. And the number of users in those OTT operators are growing because number of smartphones is also growing. And they're eating our bread, to be very honest. Interesting consumption model, that's Ukraine now, that's not Western Europe. You see the total amount of minutes consumed by Ukrainian customers. And you see a very big drop from last year to this year. Interestingly to say, number of SMS is growing in Ukraine. That's a very unusual trend. Everywhere in the world, SMS is dying business. In Ukraine, it's still growing. We are making good money on you, don't worry. You've seen my video. And that's a standard trend, the same as in Ukraine and in the whole world. That's mobile data in terabytes. As you see, when all the 3 mobile operators in Ukraine managed to build decent 3G networks, the amount of data consumed is really exploding. And that's very interesting numbers. Right now, the networks of operators can work around 26,000 operations per second. And here there are different technologies that are emerging, coming up, and they will be around us maybe next year, maybe year after next, and so on. But experts from Gartner calculated that by year 2018, the networks, our mobile networks, have to be ready to work with 1 million operations per second, and in 2020, maybe 5, it has to be 1 billion operations per second. And for this, you will need 5G. For this, okay, new technology, nobody knows what. So that's coming up, and we have to follow. And again, the good thing about Ukraine is that we are way behind. So we can wait and see what they're doing, and we can copy a lot of things. That's good for us, maybe not for you. So what Kievstar is doing now? I give you now the list of measures, very big projects that we are doing, and then I will explain project by project if I have enough time. So first, we are replacing completely 20% of our IT systems. I'll show what we are doing. Second, in order to achieve necessary scalability and, by the way, save money, we will move to no SQL technology very soon. It's a project in the works, yes. For most of our systems, for billing, but not for accounting. But billing is the biggest part of our operations, obviously. Then we are moving to open source solutions, also for biggest part of our operations, not for everything. We are, in order to achieve real-time cooperations with our clients, both B2C, business to consumer, and B2B segments, business to business, we will unify data model for all BSS applications. And in order to improve all the customer experience throughout all the channels, we are introducing still projects in the work, so-called omni-channel model, which will be supported by a new digital stack. So the first example, that's how our IT systems look now. And you see, the green one is very old, the blue one is just old, and yellow is rather new, relatively new systems. That's a zoo of the IT systems we have in different parts of our businesses. I don't include here accounting because we are not talking about accounting, we are talking IT systems specific only for telecom companies. So that's how it looks now. And that's the project that we are doing now in order to replace all of them with so-called digital full-stack solutions. That's how it will be looking. It will be having one front-end solution to all the customers. And I can now announce the system because the tender is already finished. They are implementing. We have now a lot of funny looking IT people sitting in our main office in Kiev. I think 50 people with strange hair, strange clothes, occupying the whole floor, coming from all the countries. And that's a solution being provided to us, a company called Ericsson. You know this company, it's a big Swedish international company. And the front end for Kievstar will be provided the company that Ericsson controls, not fully owns, called Kvantel from Finland, also maybe very well-known startup. So we are doing a huge replacement of all our specific telecom solutions. And on the side of it, as you see, we are now implementing so-called MFS, that's a mobile financial services solution. We are planning to make most, I would say all, most of the phones in circulation in Ukraine, of course with our SIM cards, working as wallets with money. And this is also a very big IT supplier from US that's doing this part. So that's ideally how the system will be looking away their SIM cards. When they don't like operators, they just throw away SIM card and they buy a new SIM card. They may throw away my SIM card, again buy my SIM card. It's still a choice. Or they can buy competitors' SIM cards. And competitors doing, their clients doing the same. And the churn rate in Ukraine is one of the lowest in the world, which is very good. One of the lowest, really. For example, I can compare, to give you some understanding, and by the way, we are prepaid market, which means that 92% of our customers are anonymous prepaid. I don't know who they are. They don't give me any passport data. So they are anonymous prepaid, and logically they should have huge churn, because if you're anonymous, you prepaid, you just throw away your SIM card, you buy a new SIM card, because you don't value your number very much. But in Ukraine, my churn rate today, annual churn rate, is approximately 17%, which means that 17% of my user base is throwing away every year my SIM cards. For comparison, in Russia, where the market is not anonymous, you cannot buy a SIM card in Russia without giving the passport data. The churn rate is approximately 50 to 60%, depending on operator, which is crazy. And if the churn is so high, like in Russia and in some other former Soviet Union countries, basically it helps the dealers to buy Mercedes and houses in Pagans. Because when I'm buying a new SIM card, operator is paying 6 or 8 months commission to the dealer. That's a way to enrich the dealers. So when we optimize the churn rate, when we take down maybe by 1 or 2%, we save huge amount of money. Then target audience, which means, okay, I'll talk about this later, geo-positioning data, smart service offer, and future-proof data management platform, DMP. So, NPS, you know what NPS is, obviously. I know you had a presentation from somebody who is a really great fan of this measuring system. And we have huge things going around NPS in Kievstar. We have a specific department doing just this. I have part of my bonus, I think 15% of my annual bonus, fully depending on my NPS level on Kievstar. And interesting to say, because of this bonus, or maybe because of other things, for last 1.5 years, we have the best NPS of all operators in Ukraine. Our latest NPS, if I'm right, for last quarter is 22%. And our closest competitor in NPS has 11%, which is a huge difference. And 22% for mobile operators is very decent level. Anyway, and working with big data, our people who understand the big data designed a model where we can find out 75% of detractors. What that really means? When we increase our prices, and we do increase our prices very regularly, that's our business, it's very important to understand where the detractors are. Because if I'm a detractor and I'm hit with a price increase, I'm throwing away SIM card and I'm moving to other operators. So if I know who the detractor is, I immediately, after the price increase, maybe next day, send him a personalized offer. Very personal. I'm writing just for you, my dear friend. You get this fantastic offer. And I'm not suffering a lot because anyway, he'll leave me, right? he'll go to my competitor. So if I send him even very low offer, he'll stay with me and he'll bring me some money. The trouble and disaster is if I make a big mistake with these detractors, then I have huge downsell because I send very low offer to the person who is not going to detract. And of course he gladly takes this offer, he's happy, I'm not happy. And our big data model now allows us to predict 75% of detractors. And since 2013, due to our huge projects, different measures, the churn rate fallen by 1.5 times. And as I said, we have now best rate in the world among prepaid companies. If we take all the prepaid companies, companies where prepaid is more than 50%, we are the best in the world, not Europe. Then, target audience. The problem is, because I don't know who my customers are, I don't know whether it's female or male, whether it's a family. I want to define the family, to give them a family offer. I don't know. I don't know whether it's a babushka, which is very important for me. I don't know whether he works or he's unemployed. So a lot of things that I want to know, I don't know. And for that, big data and machine learning products, efforts allow me to identify age, gender, some interests, not all of the interests. They allow me to identify gamers who obviously want special offer, and multi-SIM user. Multi-SIM user is extremely important for me because Ukraine and all the former Soviet Union countries are very unique countries. When we speak with European or American operators, they don't understand us. Because in this country, 95% of the customers have a phone with 2 SIM cards, which is absolutely impossible to find in Europe or US. People don't understand what is 2 SIM cards in one phone. And Samsung has produced the first SIM card, first phone with 2 SIM cards. Why Samsung did it? Because Eurosat, you know, Eurosat in Russia, it used to be a very, very big chain of shops. They asked Samsung to produce this phone for Russia because they identify this customer need. And then all this game started, and now most of the users have phone with 2 SIM cards. And for me, it's extremely important to identify whether I'm the first or the second card. Because if I'm the first card, I'm getting the biggest charge, biggest bill from this user. He spends a lot of money on it. If I'm second card, it's not right. So I want him to swap the cards to make me the first card. Geo-positioning, we want to find out where our users are, their moving patterns. We want to sell this to advertisers, we want to sell it to the shops, and we are doing now. We have a number of pilot projects with Kiev shopping malls where we identify the traffic, and we're trying to get a pilot cases where we give it not for money, for free now, to shops situated in the shopping mall in order to send targeted advertising. Smart service offer. We have to identify users who want to buy the offer but maybe don't know this yet. For example, 1% of the users were real roamers, so we were generating a lot of stupid traffic. Users hated us because if I'm sitting in a small village in Ukraine and suddenly I'm getting an offer, hi, you are getting a specific offer for Germany, buy 30 minutes of traffic for the price of 20 minutes. I'm really, really hating Kievstar. So now reliability of this roaming offer, for example, is 65%. So it's 65 is a huge, I know, upsell compared to 2% before. And we are building 1.5 petabyte data management platform based on open source technologies, the same as used by Twitter and Google. We are not doing this alone. We are doing this with Wimpel.com, other countries, Wimpel.com headquarters, because it's a very heavy, very money-intensive, very highly people-intensive project. But we'll have it, I think, by the end of next year, or maybe before. And finally, one more interesting example, we have a campaign management solution. That's a third-party application using big data. It's an Israeli company who is very, very professional in doing this. And the thing is that when the customer is doing something, for example, when the customer tops up his account, you understand, iBox, customer puts his money in iBox, and in the millisecond, customer has to get a personalized offer, something like, if you put, for example, suppose he put 20 hryvnias in this iBox, and this system identifies the usage of this customer, is he, how regularly he tops up, how big money he puts on his phone account, and immediately produce offer something like this. Top up another 20 hryvnias, and you get 30 hryvnias on your account. But it has to be done in really milliseconds while he's still there. That's very important. Or I'm doing some internet sessions, and the system sees that, for example, I'm using a lot of YouTube traffic. And the system says, by the way, your internet allowances is finishing very soon. Please pay 40 hryvnias now, and instead of 3 gigabytes that you are entitled to, you get 5 gigabytes, but only for YouTube. Something like this. And that's what the system is doing. It produces approximately 3 million offers per month. So it's like a huge machine. Works very well, produces a lot of revenues for Kievstar. Another interesting example, we make big PR out of this example. It's called Zariana. It's a nice Ukrainian lady. That's how it looks like. But actually, it's our chatbot. It's not a real lady. So it has 5,000 unique answers. It already had 400,000 dialogues since launch, since April this year. So it's a very new system, as you can see. It says it has 70% customer satisfaction, which I understand. I don't know this system very well, but I understand it's a very high number. And 75% of the customers return to Zariana. So we recently launched Zariana bot on Facebook and Telegram. I understand one of them, or maybe both of them, we did the first in Ukraine. I understand that Telegram bot only Kievstar and Privatbank has now in Ukraine. I'm not sure any other company has. And about Facebook, maybe only us have a Facebook bot in Ukraine. I'm not aware of anybody else doing the same. Right, then it's an interesting example. We discussed a lot internally in Kievstar. What are we doing with startups in Ukraine? Because it's a lot of startups, people are doing this and that, and all of them trying to sell it to companies, big companies like us. And finally, we understood that we don't understand anything in startups. It's good that we understood this. So we found a partner, the partner called VDNH Tech. That's a very interesting Kiev incubator, accelerator, I don't know how they call themselves. So we gave them some seed money. They sponsored a lot of applications for different startup ideas. And finally, 11 applications were selected, and now they're accelerating them. Here I just give 3 examples out of 11. And the important thing, what we are doing in Kievstar, the ones that will be accelerated properly, the ones that will really have a good proof of concept, we will give them Kievstar customer database to monetize. Of course, we will have revenue share, but that's a huge thing. Nobody else in Ukraine, maybe only Privatbank, has similar customer base compared to Kievstar. We are 2 biggest companies owning the customers in this country. And another thing, it's a part of Windmill.com project, it's not our project. It's called Eurasia Mobile Challenge. It's for all countries in Eurasia, so not only for Ukraine. And 3 winners from Ukraine will join other regional winners in the semi-finals. And 3 top winning teams will get some nice seed money to develop their projects. And you can still apply. It's up to 20th of October, and that's the site, and you'll be, if you want, participating in this Windmill.com wide project. Yeah, and I'm finishing my presentation. So if you want to get ready for the near future, you at least have to understand all those funny abbreviations. because when I came to telecom, it was around 2 years ago, a little bit more than 2 years, I understood that everything in telecom has 3 letters abbreviation. So they talk 3 letters this, 3 letters this, sometimes 4 letters, but then it's something really complicated. And here I give, I bought for my PR department the book of very interesting quotes from IT entrepreneurs all around the world. I will have 4 quotes. So wait, you take a photo later. These all 4 of them. So I bought a book called, the book name is Shit Happens. And the quotation from those books, and you can follow also me on Facebook, but now the 4 great quotations from very famous luminaries in the digital world. This is not digital world, but still this book. And I especially like the first quote from a guy who created a company called Box. He says that innovation is hard, because solving problems people didn't know they had, and building something no one needs, looks very identical at first. Okay, I'm finished with this. That's the last slide. No. Right. I don't know who is moderating the session, but if some of you have any questions, you're very welcome. Okay? Do we have a mic? By the way, as you can see, today I'm making